Today we will be testing the cycle channel oscillator. But before we do, if you have not watched the first video on the channel and all the videos after that, you need to go do that now. Here at the Academy of Forex, we are building the best trading system possible as a team. There is also a link down below to sign up for Tradingview. You can save a little bit of money if you use the link below to sign up for your account. You can also find a link below to join us on Discord. Lastly, if you would like a list of all the indicators we have tested along with their win rates, but you aren't interested in watching all the videos on the channel, you can sign up for our $9 Patreon, and you will receive the complete list of indicators. We also would like to introduce our Patreon exclusive Discord channel. As a $9 Patreon, you will be invited to join an exclusive Discord channel where we will give you a list of winning indicators and links for the MT platform, give you winning strategies, post trade ideas, give advanced advice, and much more. So click the link below to join our Patreon. Alright, as I said, today we will be testing the cycle channel oscillator. Before we do though, I wanted to put the testing scoreboard up for everyone to see. So to date, we have tested a total of 51 different strategies, with 13 of them being profitable. We've also tested a total of 626 indicators, with 255 of them being winners. The best ones so far were able to achieve a 100% win rate. Now you need to go back and watch those videos to understand the context of how they were able to achieve that. So go back and watch those videos and see what you can get out of those winning indicators. And keep in mind that we test most of these strategies and indicators on the Forex market, but they can be applied to just about any market universally. Alright, so today's indicator is the cycle channel oscillator. So we tested this one on the last video, and on that video what we did was we looked for the red oscillating line to get into an overbought or oversold type area. That area would be above the green zone or below the red zone, kind of similar to like an RSI type situation. And once we got the red line in the overbought or oversold position, we then looked for it to come back, well, not necessarily come back into the green or red, but what we looked for was the cross of the red line below the green or above the green, depending on whether it was in the overbought or oversold. And so if you're interested in watching more of how that one worked out, then visit our last video. So those of you who have already watched it, let's go ahead and move forward to how we are going to test it on this one. Like I said, I figured we would test it one more way that kind of caught my eye, just stood out a little bit. Not sure if it's going to do any better, but figure again it was worth a shot. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for that red line to go into the overbought or oversold area, same as before, so above the green zone or below the red zone. Then what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the green line, and what we're looking for is when the red line crosses the 0 line. It's technically a 50 line, so the line right down the middle here is a 50 line. Again, you could consider it to be kind of like a 0 line as well, even though it isn't at 0. 0 is actually down here. And so when we again get the red oscillating line into overbought, we look for it to then come down and cross that 50 line to the downside. When we are in the oversold, then we are looking for that red line to come back and then cross up above that 50 line. So that's what we're looking for. That's how we're going to test it this time. Let's go ahead and get on with the testing and see what we can get out of this. All right, so the first signal that we picked up was a long signal. You can see kind of the methodology behind what we're doing this particular way of testing the indicator. So we see that that oscillating line comes down, gets into this oversold area, but just because it's in the oversold area does not mean that the downtrend is necessarily over. And so you see that it keeps bouncing along, dropping down below that zero line here at the bottom, below the red zone. It will spike back up for a little bit of a correction into that area, even cross that green line like we tested last time, but ultimately it continues to push down further and further and further and further. We pick up a little bit of divergence right here where we're getting lower lows, but we are actually getting higher highs here on that oscillating line before we finally get a push to the upside that crosses up above that 50. And you can see it looks like we have caught the nice directional change in the trend right here. Now, I'm not sure where it's going to go from here, obviously, but it does seem like we have finally caught that bottom and the direction change. So let's go ahead and continue on. All right, so the second one is a short signal right here. Just touching base back here on this one, you can see that we did see that nice change in the trend direction right there, as I said before. Now, unfortunately, with this one, we get a short signal right here, but it looks to be as though it is a fake out, that this has come down, hit this point, is now pushing back up, probably going to hit this area right here, this demand zone right here, and might then reflect off of it and push down from there. But this one did get us stopped out, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right, so the next one is a short. We see here, didn't quite get that deflection that we were looking for, that double top type scenario that I thought might happen. Actually pushed up just a little bit more and then started to push its way down. We get the short right here, but then we get a real big bar right here, a heavy pullback in the market, a correction that does come up and just barely stops us out before it then starts to push down. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the testing. That way things don't get too long, and we'll pick this up when we are at the end of the year. All right, so that's going to put us at the end right there. Before we take a look at what this was able to achieve, now would be a good time to say that if you are interested in excelling your trading knowledge, I highly recommend that you join our Patreon only channel on our Discord server. You can find a link to our Patreon down below, as well as a link to our Discord. Once you sign up as a patron, it'll give you access to the Patreon only channel, where we post some really great advanced information about trading strategies, trading indicators, and trading philosophy in general. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, you'll get access to the full list of indicators that we have tested. That comes in an Excel version and a PDF version, and you will get that full list of indicators showing exactly which indicators were winners, which ones were losers, as well as their win rates. And you'll get access to an Excel sheet of all the strategies that we have tested that shows exactly which strategies were winners, which ones were losers, as well as their win rates, and links to go back and review those individual strategies. And so there is a lot of benefits to becoming a patron of the channel, and it doesn't cost hardly anything at all. I highly recommend it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our indicator here. Okay, pretty clear there. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Four trades altogether, 4 signals, and we have 1 and 2 winners. So that is not going to meet the 60% criteria that we were looking for. It did better than it did last time as far as the win rate goes, but it did I think less trades if I'm not mistaken. And so in that aspect, it didn't do too great, even though we did kind of increase the win rate a little bit. I think there's maybe some potential with this one. It does seem to catch those peaks really well. I mean, if you just look at the peaks, the peaks of the oscillating line versus the peaks of the price action tend to work out pretty well most of the time. And so in that aspect, again, it feels like there's something that it could be used for. But for our purposes at the moment, we can't really use it. So we are going to put this one on the no list, and we will move on to the next indicator from here.